generally confused about the characterization because you usually get the same brief for everything. The girl has to be bubbly, she's nice, she's cute, she's looking this, that. So how can I bring something different to that? You don't. They don't give you material.
Correct.
To for auditions.
Yes.
I'm saying for auditions. To work on, maybe bring that side out.
Yeah. No, I think this is a very good question because a lot of girls face this. Whenever you go, you get the same brief.
Yeah.
You also give that one character reference. You also get, behave like that person. And you're told that she's bubbly and she's spunky and she's happy and she's loud and energy and she's energetic. So a lot of times you hear this. Now what ends up happening is that because there is no context to the character, but only, so what they're essentially telling you is this is the final result. They're not telling you what is the character. They're telling you what is the result they need.
Okay.
And when they tell you that this is the result we need, as an actor, especially new actors who've not done too many films and they're still auditioning, maybe they've done 30 auditions also, 100 auditions also, but they're not experienced as actors, that they've not done 60 days of shoot, 40 days of shoot. In those cases, your first point of reference is an actor who's already done this, and you start behaving like that actor, especially when that brief is given. Remember that character from that film? And then you're like, that's the one, and then you start becoming this other thing without going there internally. So how in our workshops it's so important that every character needs to have inner world. Okay, so a lot of times the job of the casting people, if they choose to do it that way, is to tell you what they need. But the actor's job is, okay, she's bubbly, why is she bubbly? She's spunky, she's loud, energetic, why? Why and how? So you can create your why and how, because you can't change what they want. You can't say, no, I will play this sad. You can't do that. You have to do it the way they've asked you to do it. But how you do it is your thing, is your call. And in fact, that how is so important as an actor to think of and apply, because without that how, you're going to look like any other girl who's coming to audition. So when somebody's going, yeah, same, and suddenly this one girl comes, she's loud, she's bubbly, she's everything, but she's doing it in a very different way. It's so believable, it's so organic, there's so much conviction. And as an actor, you cannot have conviction unless you know why. Right? When you know the why, conviction comes. And from the why, you also find your how. That how will I do it? Yes, I'm loud, but how am I going to be loud? So if you answer the why and the how, then life becomes easier. And then your audition is far more convincing. And along with being convincing, it's also unique. It doesn't look like any other girl who's come today and auditioned. So any person who wants a very fair chance at being considered should somewhere find that person in themselves also. It's not just start behaving like somebody else. No, you also have a loud side to you at times. You are also bubbly at times. You're also spunky at times. You're also energetic at times. So find that side of you. Bring that side with conviction in the lines that you're speaking. And suddenly you will create something very organic and very unique.
So, speaking of organic, how organic you need to be? Because in my performance, for the entire day we were shooting a sad scene where I'm crying. So for the entire day, my method is being in the same energy and zone and not talking to people and being there. Because you can't fake you can fake happiness. You might. Chalo, you get away with it. Sort of. It shows in your eyes, in your smile, but you can still get away with it. But crying, either you're crying or either you're not. I was crying in the scene and my tears were real, the emotion was real. But people do that same thing with glycerin and they get away with it, and people, even then, nobody takes notice of it. ठीक है, क्या मेहनत की है, रो तो रही है, it's fine, okay, let it be. So after that, I felt like, should I start cheating? Should I start using glycerin and getting away with it? Why to waste so much energy if nobody's gonna appreciate it or take notice of it?
So I believe that when we become an artist, we do it for the standards that we want to meet. It's not necessary about what others feel and what others think is good or bad, or whether you're appreciated for it or not. For example, one of my favorite painters, Vincent van Gogh, he made hundreds of paintings in his life, and none of them were appreciated or sold while he was alive, and all of that happened much later. He became famous only after he died. But if he had told himself that, why am I painting, because I'm not getting an appreciation, he did it because there was this urgent need in him and a call that he needs to do this, even though in his personal life he was so messed up, and he didn't know night from day, and he did some very crazy things as well, like cutting his own ear just because he could not get a self-portrait right, the ear right, so he cut it off, like things like that he did. But he just kept striving for something, and he did it because he felt that there was a call to him to do so. That call was the only thing that kept him going. So I think when we become artists, your pursuit for growing in your art is your pursuit. It's not necessarily that somebody else should also have that pursuit. It's got nothing to do with what somebody else is doing. It's your pursuit. And if you believe that I need to do it a certain way, then you should do it a certain way. And in fact, you should even want to grow in that, even become better at that. Maybe there is scope to even get better along with, let's just say, actually crying every single time when you're performing. So a lot of times we do it for ourselves also. But when we want the others to also do it a certain way, when that comparison starts, and when we want recognition for what we're doing, that's when these problems start coming up. So the recognition is the very act of doing, is the very act of being there and reaching a certain level. That is for me, that is the result also. Because you want a certain standard of, and those are the kind of artists who actually really, when they're not doing it for the external world, those are the kind of artists who really transcend the material plane of art and transcend to the spiritual plane of art. So it's only in your journey that one day doing, you will transcend one day. And that's what great artists do, great musicians do, great painters do, actors, all these people, great storytellers, writers. At one point they transcend the material plane. They go into a spiritual plane, and they function, and they write from there, they paint from there, they sculpt from there, they perform from there. And unless we have that standard, we will never reach there. So it's not about what anybody else is doing. At the same time, I think if one day you need to use glycerin, use it. Don't judge yourself if one day you used it. It's fine. Not every time you will be able to cry. Maybe one day you can't, and that day, just because you used glycerin, why use the word lie and cheat? So it's also our judgment of certain other people doing things a certain way. That's their process. That's how they want to do it, and that's fine. Just because I want a certain way, that does not mean that everybody should do it that way. It's whatever works for them, they should do, and whatever works for me, I should do. So there is nothing wrong. But when you will want appreciation and validation of what you're doing from outside, that's when the problem will come.